What are those red lights in life to kind of give us guidance whenever things get a little hazy? My emphasis tonight is going to be more on the moderate, not the phone call, not the catastrophe, but these things that kind of might be maybe long in duration or maybe significant changes in direction, or could be changes in direction, things of that sort. You know, like for me, I'm just coming off of an extended work season. Tax season lasts a good 3.5 months out the year, roughly a third of my life. That causes things to get out of balance. You know, from what the normal, the ordinary time, we might call it, of how things go with my routine. Another one I'm thinking of, we just went up to Arkansas to see my first grandchild. As I'm on the highway, just getting into Arkansas, major storm comes through. Visibility is down to almost nothing. And it's an interstate highway, so your traffic's supposed to normally be moving at a pretty good clip on that particular roadway. And I was, you know, I had a goal, I had a destination, I had a timeline I was trying to meet to get to a particular location. So I'm trying to continue to move at a good pace. You know, Ben had told Missy, he says, "That's the hardest rain I've ever seen." And so she asked me, she says, "How were you able to see?" I said, "Well, they got these little things on these lines on the road, they're white lines, and you keep yourself in between them." So for us, in other situations, these red lights on the back of other vehicles, you look very, very hard to see those red lights on the back of other vehicles. What are those red lights in life to kind of give us guidance whenever things get a little hazy? What are the white lines? You know, in our men's group, we'll have men that are that may be called away to duty to their work for a number of weeks. You know, not able to attend spiritual group, and it makes an impact. You know, you notice somebody's not there, and then they're able to come back and get back into the routine, get back into the group. All these changes in routine, they throw us off. One deliberate one by the church is Lent. That throws us, that gives us a different routine for a specific reason and guides us through a specific thing. And again, Donald Trump, one of his books I listened to or read, he talked about a man that was very successful in business that he knew, one of his colleagues, and lost it all. And he had a conversation with him. He said, "What happened?" He said, "I lost my momentum and I couldn't figure out how to get it back." That's a problem. So how do we deal with that? I want to use a few, just not necessarily the resource himself, but some concepts from some resources. One being a book that was written, that I didn't read it when it was written, but it was written the year I began dating the woman who would become my wife in '89, Stephen Covey, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. In there, he talks about dividing up tasks or things that occupy our time into categories called quadrants, 4 different categories. And I've used that in this room before, actually, talking about it, do it on the board. We can divide them into 4 different categories, and it's things, you know, it's whether something is urgent or important, or not urgent, not important. So you have things that are urgent and important, things that are important and not urgent, things that are not important but urgent, and things that are not important and not urgent. Where we want to spend our time is not in that crisis category of urgent and important, but of not urgent but important. So again, we can look at how we're spending our time. And the next one, other resource being a work from 2002, right a year after I made the Cursillo, by Rick Warren, called The Purpose-Driven Life. And our purpose, if we know what our purpose is and why we do it, it'll put us back on track. It'll bring us back on track, even if we've found ourselves in a crisis in one of those catastrophes. You know, the world gets spun around for us, and we have to get back on track. Why am I doing what I'm doing? And the one takeaway, if you take away this evening, one statement I would use from Jim Rohn on that note is, this would be the nugget. If you don't have a plan, you become part of somebody else's plan. You know they have a plan for you? Not much. Not much. And bring that to a spiritual level. Satan has a plan for you and me. And that plan is not a good thing. But it's true. He does.